Week 1 for Metaverse Champions has concluded. I feel there's a lot to go over here because the AJ Striker Champions controversy and so much more has happened this week, as well as the ELRC drama, which this is our third video on the topic. I wanted to summarize the controversy in short, as well as the other teams, which we will also review in this video. We'll review every team and see if it was fair, the best games, and so much more. Obviously, we'll be focusing on AJ Striker for this video because AJ Striker had the most controversy. Week 1 in short was wild. There was so much in the games, and to kick off the starting week it was very fun and had mixed and average reviews, and you had your fair share of people who didn't like it. Some of our starting games included familiar games, underrated games, and games that are odd. The week in short introduced the event of Metaverse Champions, the replacement for the egg hunt. The Metaverse Champions egg hunt was wild on its first day. The concept, instead of eggs, collect 45 boxes maximum each week for your champions. You can collect all of them or collect only 4 each week to gain your desired champion. It's very flexible, which I will give the event props for. The event has its strong and weak points. For the first week, there were multiple strong points that were of the event, the first being its flexibility. However, there were also weak points just as anything that I felt the need to talk about as well. That is being the lack of accessibility because of unfair balance points in progress. We'll also be summarizing the Pink Valk Drama, which will certainly be a treat to discuss. Let's get right into it. My name's Snooky Alex, and this is our Roblox review series. Let's get started. Yo, what's up, Nerd Squad, and welcome back to another video. Before we get started in this video, make sure to subscribe for Roblox drama, news, tips, and tricks, and more. We are so close to 11K. Please help us get there by subscribing and turning on the bell so you never miss out on one of our uploads. Uploads are 3 times a week up mostly. In today's video, we'll be reviewing all the teams and good points and bad points about week 1 in a summary. Let's start off with our first team, Sparks Kilowatt. Sparks Kilowatt, we were introduced as a fun, feisty, and good hero. Her character is the least Arthro out of all of them, and was pertinently in first place due to multiple factors. First off, the fact is Sparks Kilowatt had the most accessible games out of all the characters. My favorite games out of the Sparks Kilowatt was Club Robloxia. Had a wonderful quest similar to Robloxian high schools, and had a really fun time. Not just that, but the quest was creative and had something to do with it. I like how it took a decent amount of time and the quest had something to do with the event, where it had puzzles, obbies, and much more to challenge, all which you can tell took genuine time and effort for it. You can tell that this was handcrafted by the developers, and they took their time in making sure this was a fun quest to complete in a cave. However, for the rest of the developers' quests, I felt they were too easy for my liking or unintuitive. Tiny's difficulty chart obby was a great one too, I should mention. Some of my least favorite games were Sparks Kilowatt Escape Obby and Muscle Busters. I hated Escape Grandma Obby. It was practically a free way for free clicks and free gameplays on the game where you simply just completed the obby. The obby had no creativity into it to try and implement it into the Metaverse event. Absolutely no story, and was just a major disappointment everywhere because nothing creative was added. See, I love creativity in games. If a game tries in creativity, I'll take it. At the end of the day, execution may not work out, but that's okay. Up next are our 2 spots which are very close. Fey Yoshida, my beloved, and the Chad AJ Striker. Therefore, because Fey Yoshida should be leading, I'll review her first. Fey Yoshida is my favorite champion. Fey Yoshida's strong point is that her games took a good amount of time to complete for week 1. Not too hard, but not too easy either. They were just the right difficulty. Fey Yoshida is a champion introduced from the streets, has a punk attitude, and magic powers. Pretty cool, right? The coolest game on Fey Yoshida's team was Toy Defenders. Favorite game of week 1, in fact. Absolutely wonderful job on their end. Wonderful job. I cannot applaud this team enough. They implemented the story perfectly with their quest and had a perfect ending to the Metaverse Cyberpunk theme. Developers were even kind enough to hand out boxes with us. Another great game was Marble Mania. However, I just wish there would be some storyline to Marble Mania. Marble Mania, you can tell, is a very well-made, very fun GUI game, but the lack of storyline had it for me. However, Fey's Purple Coaster was added, which was a nice addition as a longtime player of Marble Mania. Kitty's Metaverse event was alright, and same with the rest. However, my least favorite game of them all was Katana Simulator. With the levels, this should be a badge that has been able to obtain from the start. Relying on player levels for kills is not good at all because therefore players have an advantage over one another. It's based off the amount of time you spend in the game, and that's not good because I found I couldn't get a single kill and had to AFK click for a good 40 minutes. Fey Yoshida's team was pretty average in a way. I found it wasn't bad, but it wasn't really good either. Some game picks I just found were lower quality, like similars who had get a certain amount of number in game and just not really creative quests. What does 25 kills have to do with the Metaverse story? Absolutely nothing. Up next, we had AJ Striker, which we did go over in our previous video. Was AJ Striker's team unfair? AJ Striker by far had the hardest arsenal of games out of all of them, including Emergency Response Liberty County, which was removed from the hub, therefore making the score unfair. My favorite game for AJ Striker was 8 Miners Haven, which had a creative storytelling quest that took just the right amount of time to complete in the tycoon of game. The idea of carrots and bunnies stealing the crates just perfect. Great idea, great execution, took some time, but it was a great quest. However, oh boy, I did not like AJ Striker's team that much. I didn't like it because I felt the team was unfair for other teams for Emergency Response Liberty County, which I refused to play because I didn't want to contribute to a game's funds if they can't go free for a publicly accessible event. Emergency Response Liberty County had a lot to work on ultimately. The game, from what I've heard, took a couple hours. Tutorials were 15 to 20 minutes long, and that's sped up. What you had to do in Emergency Response Liberty County was tedious and not fun. You had to buy a gun, an RFD distributor. It took very long. The developers, although did take my feedback, which I do appreciate. At the end of the day, they are improving, which I do appreciate very much. I make critique to be heard, and when it's heard, it makes me very happy. Thank you, Mr. Fergie. What I also found was funny was the dance for 34 plus 35 in the game emotes. You know what those numbers add up to if you know. That's not really good. We found that on our stream. It was a fun little quest though. Up next is our last team, which is Knightblade, who throughout the event has always been in last place. They have been in last place unfortunately for multiple reasons. However, Red Knightblade had some great quests that y'all missed out on greatly I tell you. The best quest was the Emerald Race, in which the map was created for the event and Speed Race. Speed Race event was also hard, but it was just the right amount of challenge, and the challenge was nice. It also had something to do with the story. I know I keep hinting about the story, but the story is quite important to me. It connects the metaverse and the universe that was attempted to be created. My least favorite quest was Ninja Legends. You had to buy double jumps, and the island idea made no sense to me. It was just an obby. It was just average. Overall, Week 1 for Metaverse Champions introduced us to a brand new, fresh idea of crates. However, many of these games had a lack of creativity or a quick quest. Next week, we'll review Week 2 and see how the events in Week 2 are. We'll be doing this every week, and then our final mega review at the end of the week's Metaverse Champions review. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment if you enjoyed it. I'll see you in next week's video.